Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel this evening as the one and only Fox and the legend that is Bridgeman. Evening, gents.
Well, can I say a big good evening to you guys in the panel? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Bridge.
Hi, Foxy.
How are you doing, lads? Sore one to take yesterday.
Very sore.
I mean, I've seen us play worse there than win, mate. If I'm being honest, that second half performance gave me a lot of hope for the future and a lot of positives to take for the game. Obviously, it gave me a lot of incidents, Fox.
Well, we'll have plenty to talk about over the next 2 hours, I would expect.
Next couple of nights. Just quickly, Rangers Radio would like to see a random caller because some offence yesterday is now blocked and informs some in the media that the person who overreacted wasn't part of the show panel but a public caller. That's all we've got to say and us making the news, Bridgeman.
Aye, well,
let's move on.
Move on, pal, move on, please.
Unfortunately, some people done what me Alfredo done and took the bait. Fox, I'll give him how I seen the game. I had the pleasure of watching it yesterday with the Bournemouth True Blues. Met up with Poole Ranger, had a chat with him. Lovely young man. Wish him all the best for the future. He's got a lot going on in his life at the moment. Just wish him all the best, Poole Ranger. Enjoyed it. Great atmosphere. Loads of bears in there. In the middle of Bournemouth. It was nearly a great day, Bridge.
Nearly. It was close, actually. I mean, you said a wee minute ago there, you can't say anything, but give them praise because they played really well. They were under the cosh in the first I would say, first 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And we came back. We came back for sure.
I'll tell you how I seen it, because obviously I've not spoke to yourselves. I've spoke to Fox, but I've not spoke to yourself, Bridget. The game started, in the first couple of minutes, we started okay. And then they got ahead of a steam up, and they never really threatened to go much. I mean, there was one chance that McGregor said for the centre forward. I'd like to see that again, because I actually thought the boy was offside when he played it. Obviously, and then they came up. They came and attacked us in pretty much in waves. But it was a lot. It came for us not keeping the ball. What we talked about on the previous show, and I thought Worrell in particular was very slack, trying to make impossible passes. There is sometimes, Bridge, you'll know this, as I said off, when you clear your lines, if there's nothing on, you just cleared your lines and you hoof it up to the centre forward. It's no pretty, but it clears the danger, mate.
Yeah, I think we lacked that, and I have to say, and I don't want to pick on any one player, but I wasn't too well pleased with Mr. Worrell yesterday. I thought he was quite weak. However, Mr. Halliday wasn't a great 100%er yesterday either, but second half, you can't say too much. You just can't say too much.
Let me get it, but we're still on.
Sorry, pal. Sorry, I'm just talking. Right, sorry.
But Worrell slack passes, and I thought Ryan Jack in midfield, he worked very hard, particularly in the second half, but I've got to say, I didn't think he looked fit. I've got to be honest. Just my opinion. Other people's might see it differently, because I thought he was wasteful as well. Arfield, when he got the ball, used it well, wisely, worked hard. The debate about McCrory, I think in hindsight, he looked as if somebody hadn't played for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think a lot of people would have put him in the team, and it nearly worked. But the boy needs to be playing if we're going to be fair on him. We can't just polish him out and bring him out every time we play a Celtic. So I've started to get a foothold back in the game after being under the cosh a wee bit. He gets a free kick. I think Worrell took it. Wasn't great? And the ball eventually broke to Candias. Candias blindly passes it inside and then causes a breakaway. An absolute shocking pass. And then the defending just went from bad to worse. My lad turned to me and said to me, when was Worrell going to tackle him? When he ran the ball into the net? Absolutely shocking defending, Bridger.
I think it was, he should have been easily 15 to 20 yards away from the box when he should have been tackled, taken out of the game, get a booking, whatever it takes, just take him out. Don't allow him to wander in. But I have to say this, and it pains me to say it, that boy had a marvellous game. That boy Edward did a marvellous game against us. That's the truth.
He done some nice things yesterday with Bridge. That defending yesterday, he done nothing with that ball for the first goal. Nothing.
Shocking.
He turned them and moved them, and he never when was he going to tackle him?
He wasn't.
So it's just shocking. He's got to go and try and go right through. I mean, the boy done it at Ibrox. He showed he could do it at Ibrox. Go and make the tackle. If you get away a foul, you get away a foul.
Exactly.
You know, Fox, any comments on that? But the Candias pass inside, as soon as Candias made that pass, I was screaming at the telly because all the midfield and our two fullbacks had ran past Candias. Shocking for any professional football to play a blind pass right across the park.
I was saying last week when you asked me how the game would go, I said that I hoped that we'd sit in for 20 minutes and let them run out of ideas. I thought it was working for a time. They got a few chances, but not many. I also stated that my biggest fear was a ball either over the top of the midfield or a quick ball forward where our two centre-halves would be left exposed, and that's where the two goals came from. It was at times we overcommitted. The first one, as you say, we Candias, we were up, it was a free kick. I can't really comment on us having a lot of players forward at that time.
We did, mate. We put our whole team up, mate. Tav was outside Candias. Halliday would move to the outside, the left-hand side. And then we put the ball up the park. It broke again, and it broke back, and then it came to Candias. They tried to make the pass inside, and bang, they broke, and they were right in Tapias.
Well, their pace was always going to be a danger to us. We did mention how quick they were up front, and that's how it turned out. But to give your team a bit of credit, mate, when we went down to 10 men, they definitely get tore in here.
We've just got to their goal. We've got to their goal. So they've scored the goal. And you think, well, shocking defending, angry. I'm blaming Candias and Worrell. I'll be honest with you, Bridgeman. I'm blaming Candias and Worrell for the goal. 30% Candias and 70% Worrell.
100% for me, I agree with you. 100% agree with you.
You know, and Worrell will say, well, if Candias doesn't make that pass, I don't have to make a mistake, you know.
Manager said it. 2 mistakes, 2 goals. Finished. Sorry,
the fault for me was we had the two centre-halves back, mate. They were both in a line with their player with 5 yards in between them, mate. I don't understand that at all. One of them should have been right behind Edward. He was the only one to mark. And the other one should have been 5 yards behind again in case he get by the first. Goldson made a half attempt to maybe give him a wee trip once he knew the ball was beating him, but didn't he commit himself enough? He could have took a booking there, and that would have been the end of that. Poor defending again by these two centre-backs.
Aye. Too nice, if anything. Too nice.
Aye. See if that had been the other way round, either Boyata or Ayer would have brought him straight down, mate. If that had been Kent going through, or even Morelos at that time going through, he'd have been chopped, mate. Mm-hmm. That's what's the matter with your centre-backs. They're just too, for me, too, I don't know the right word for it, but they're lenient, if that's a better word for it, you know.
I think
any centre-half would have chopped him.
Yeah, I think as centre-halves are some quite ineffectual sometimes. They're there, but they're no there, if you follow what I mean. Sometimes they manage to find a wee angle and get a good tackle in, and you think that's brilliant. And then other times, like yesterday, they're so hesitant, it's no real. They get caught on the wrong side of each other, truth be told. And you're right, Fox. The two of them should never have been standing side by side and Edward in between them. It shouldn't have happened. One should have been at least 5-6 yards behind the other in that situation, definitely.
Can I just say there's some callers trying to come in at the moment, but we'll be opening up the lines in about 5 minutes' time.
All right, so then we lost the goal, and then we have the one of the main talking points of the game yesterday. The ball was, I don't know what it was doing. It was doing in the right back channel. I don't know what had really happened. And the next thing you see, there's a melee, and you see the referee going to speak to the linesman. And you just know what was happening. I don't know what you thought yourself, Fox. I just thought, oh, here we go again. Alfredo gets the red card. And at the time, I've got to say, the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, he's been really, he's bought one. But when I watched it back the day, mate, he has bought one. But the first offence was done by the so-called Celtic captain. And then Morelos, again, he does give the referee a decision to make, what I don't like. But then the so-called hard man is doing as if he's been hit in the face. And I think the pictures have proved once again that he wasn't touched in the face. And he's doing and feigns injury once again. So there's 2 bookings in there for the Celtic captain. One for deliberately kicking Morelos, which caused Morelos to react. I'm not defending how naive Alfredo was. And then there's a second booking for feigning injury. So there we go. I didn't think that at the time. I was really, really angry with Alfredo at the time. And I'm still a bit angry with him that he bought it. But the so-called hard man, the Lego buncher, as some people like to call him, 2 bookings there for me, Fox.
Alfie took the bait, as we say, mate, but Scott Brown, the way the press are going on, it's just all in the game. I watched a really serious game yesterday between Liverpool and Tottenham. I never seen MD behaving like that in a game. That's deliberate. I'm going to stick up for Morelos, although I had a go at him yesterday, by the way. He did take the bait, but why are players going out their way to do this to the boy? They don't date to MD else in Scottish football.
I'll ask you this question, Fox. If the only thing that happened in that incident yesterday was Brown getting kicked, Brown kicking Morelos, would the linesman have flagged?
No, not at all. It's happened in number 4 games. He's been had the sort of things going on in the game. He's went down and the referees just ignored them. And we've all seen it. We've seen it at Ibrox. We've seen it against Aberdeen especially, where things going on off the ball. And he goes down and they just carry on, mate. They just carry on. They don't see it. They never see anything that happens first to Morelos.
Can I just say, see that incident with Morelos and that boy and Scott Brown yesterday? I have to say, I think that's the same linesman that never saw the incident with Morelos and McKenna at Aberdeen. I think that's the same linesman.
I don't know.
McAven or something like McAven.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the panel, somebody will maybe check that out for us in the lobby. Right, so
maybe the boys in the lobby.
So then we all agree that Morelos bought one, and maybe with the intent was there. You could maybe argue he did buy one. He's thrown an arm, and you could say it was a sending off. But he's obviously bought one he's bought it. So then we go in at half time. And look, let's be really honest with you. You're thinking 3, 4, 5. This could be Bridger. You're worried.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Right, so the second half starts. The first couple of minutes, they're attacking. There was one incident, I think, where McGregor made a good save with a nice ball. I think it was for McGregor through to Sinclair, and McGregor saves it for us. After that incident, I thought Tav took the game by the scruff of the neck. The boy Kent worried him to sick. The whole team would just push forward. I don't know where it came for the energy. The 850 people must have sucked him towards that goal. And you just felt we deserve something out of this. We scored a goal. We could have had a penalty. We had chance after chance. Eventually they run ragged. They went down to 10 men through injuries. And then you're thinking there's only one team going to win it. And then we shot ourselves in the foot. Where Tav, who for me was our second best player yesterday, made a ricket, mate. And then he caused the goal. And even then, we could have got an equaliser. But the second half performance, and the way Stevie G, anybody who doesn't think Stevie G is the man for the job, the way he got them out in that second half, 10 out of 10 for me. Bridgeman?
You can't disagree with you, Oxter. I think Stevie G showed his class. Everything about him was great yesterday, I thought. The way he brought the team out in the second half, the way they responded, and the way he actually believes in them to a certain extent. I have to say that. I thought it was really. I felt it for Tav. That was just unbelievable what he did. Just unbelievable. One of the most reliable people when he's trying to pass the ball. Because when I mean reliable, I mean invariably goes out the park if he does it wrong, you know. But to pass back like that, straight right into the guy's path, away you go. That's just not going to happen. So you get a goal away like that, it's just not right. It's not right. There's not much we can say about that. Other than that, you're absolutely right, Ox. Worrell had a chance to save that game. He had a chance to save the game. And as I think the manager said it, he should have put the big centre half and the ball into the net, and he didn't do it.
Did that chance with Ryan Jack's chance with Tav?
Ryan Jack, shocking.
Another one with Worrell headed it back across the goal. And that's what, I mean, I thought Kent had them worried yesterday. And obviously the media will pick up on the Kent incident, but, well, obviously the guy, he was involved in another thing, Brown, but then we had, how was Lustig no booked in the first half for 4 fouls? Somebody help me. 4 fouls he had in Kent for the first minute to the 25th minute, and he's no booked.
If there's anybody that should be getting booked regularly, it's that guy, because he regularly fouls, and he does. But I have to say, yesterday, it was, I mean, most Rangers fans, if they look back on that or even watch it again, they'll probably see all these wee incidents that they might not have thought of, or people are telling them about, and they go and look at it. They can see it. It's clear as mud, shaking at the present moment, but they can see it. It's just shocking. The one-sidedness, the impartiality is gone. It's all one-sided now. There's no impartiality at all. And I thought the referee. Sorry.
All right, mate. If people want to join us, what's the number, Fox?
Number is 0141 356 1972. Can I also say that people that block their phone number will not be answered? And that's the best I can do for them, mate.
Here, mate. Here. You've had all that experience with women, mate. Brisbane, where else can they join us?
So they can join us on Skype at RangersRadio.online. And Foxy or Old School Blue will bring them in and look after them.
All right, okay. So obviously then the game finished, and what I want to say, a classless club with a classless support, with a classless team who can't, we said it the last time, they can't even win properly. They can't even celebrate. Yep, on you go, mate.
Can I just say, this bigging up of Scott Brown, mate, I'll tell you what I see Scott Brown as. Remember that picture they showed him lying drunk, slabbers coming to his mouth and covered in pizza? That's their captain. That's the quality of their captain. And that's how I see him, as a thug, mate.
Do you know, see in the game yesterday, up until Morelos got sent off, you wouldn't have known Brown was on the park, mate. Hardly. And he showed a wee bit when they went, we had 10 men, when he obviously, it's different, and then he could, but as soon as it became a contest, he was non-existent, mate. Absolutely non-existent. I hope he gets another 3-year contract. There you go.
I don't think he'll get that, will he? I don't think he would get anything like that. You never know. You never know them. But I think if they bring in a new manager, he won't keep Scott Brown. I think that club are hoping they bring in a new manager and he'll move Scott Brown on in some way or other.
Anyway, here, and a big up to Andy Halliday, who he's one of our own, mate. One of our own, as the manager said. He would have reacted the same way. Classless, no need for it, and the Coppers should have been involved and made sure it didn't happen again. Anyway, we've been joined by the first caller evening. The one and only JFK. How we doing, JFK?
I'm fine, guys. It was a scunner yesterday, wasn't it? How's all doing, guys?
Scunner's a great word, Jimmy, because watching that at half time, come on, let's be honest about it. We're all fearing the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second half performance just, with about 20 minutes to go, you're saying to yourself, there's only one winner here, eh?
Yeah, they were there for the taking, big time, you know. My only fault in the second half was I thought maybe the gaffer should have made a substitution, but it proved us all wrong when Ryan Kent scored that magnificent goal. Aye, they were there for the take, Knox, yeah. Scurred is the word, you know. All the events surrounding it were scurring as well, you know. I've calmed down a bit since yesterday after seeing other footage, analysed it. He never touched Brown. Yep, no defending Fred. He shouldn't have lashed out with his arm. So, but
the big thing, JFK, that Alfredo's got to learn at any level of football, when you give the referee a decision to make, or the linesman, you're gambling all the time.
Yep. But football-wise, the first goal, 100% agree with you. Candace and Worrell were all over the place. It was schoolboy football. And the second goal for me, as soon as Tavernier gave the ball away, he just stopped. He stopped. He didn't go and try and retrieve it. Maybe take the man out or whatever. It was worth taking a booking at that time in the game, even if it did put us down to 9 men. I know some might not agree with that, but
I don't think Tavernier could have got there, mate. I really don't. I think when he passed it,
I know, but he just seemed to slow right down. He didn't come into the picture to a good 7, 8, 9 seconds after it. But in saying that, you know, I felt that the first half performance is absolutely shambolic. We made them look like world beaters. We were absolutely terrible. Second half, I thought we were magnificent, and that's saying something. I thought some of the football we played was out of this world. Ryan Kent, let's hope that something can be done for him next season. But regarding all the other things that happened, that the Lego muncher, what a dirty individual he is.
He sure is, mate. Anyway, we've also been joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star. How we doing, mate?
Evening, Ox. Evening, panel.
How we doing, mate? Are you back on the solids yet? Or did you go out fishing on this lovely day to contemplate what had went wrong with the world?
I was out fishing and I caught them on a nice blue bait. Going on to the game, a bit like yourselves, guys. There's nothing else to say for it. The first half, we were rank rotten. We made them look better than what they are. Second half, we certainly were in mode of the game. But I'm going to have a contradict you a wee bit. For me, it's all right saying a couple of players played no bad. For me, the midfield, we don't have enough drive in it. We need far, far better quality. Far, far better quality. And it was there for all to see. We're playing with guys that they might be decent enough footballers, but if you're trying to get to a better stage and to win games, and I go back to the bit about winning games, fact is, guys, every single major game we've had this season so far, we've failed bar the one in the 29th. Every other major game, we've been beaten. Now, that only comes through one, experience, and two and three, having better players. And Stevie G knows exactly what he needs now.
I think he does. For me, I mean, by the way, Andy Halliday stays at our club for me, not just because of yesterday, squad player. We've seen for Europe for yesterday. He'll play in midfield. I think Andy would take the gloves and go on goals, Bridgeman, if we had to, yeah. But we need a left back. You're right. We need a centre back, a mobile centre back.
Yeah.
We need a midfielder who can get about the park and make things happen. Bit of physicality. I think we're going to need a centre forward, and for me, we need a right-sided player, an attacking player.
Yeah. I can't take that away from you saying that. I think that sounds about right, doesn't it? I would say so.
Aye. Carry on, Booster.
And unfortunately, guys, not putting a downer on it, but it's fact, we've got a game in 2 days' time, and unfortunately, the two players for me that are causing all the damage, we're not going to have them for a while. So, Stevie G, much as we can try and stick up for Alfredo, they're not getting away from the fact he's done it once too often for me now. And
Do you know what he done, mate? He done exactly what you were doing this morning, mate.
Aye. Oh, I know that.
He took the bait, mate.
Exactly.
He took
but it's happened too often, Ox, and unfortunately, it's costing us dearly. And it's not just the points for yesterday. It's now going to cost it now. Exactly. It could now cost us even more points because we're going to struggle up front. You know.
Anyway, boys, starting I need to cut across you, but we enjoyed by the first caller evening. I think it's going to be busy. How we doing, caller?
All right. Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
It's David.
How we doing, David? All right?
I'm not bad.
What's
I
your
just
point,
wanted to
mate?
ask a question.
Hi, on you go,
How
mate.
long? I'm just wondering what your thoughts on how long Alfredo will be out for.
I think he's getting a 4-game ban. That's my understanding. I'll pass you to, I'll
It's
pass you to
official.
one of our criminal expert, and then I'll pass you to our bookings expert. JFK, you go first, then Bridgeman.
Yep, it is official. Andy Harley's been given a 1-game ban, and Alfredo Morelos has been given a 4-game ban. We'll want him to explain why he's been given a 4-game ban.
On you go.
He receives a 2-game automatic ban because of his violent conduct, and he receives an initial 2-game ban because of the totting-up system of receiving now 5 yellow cards, which means that he receives a 4-game total ban. Does that explain
5
it,
red
pal?
cards. 5 red cards, JFK.
5 red cards, sorry.
Yeah.
So does that explain?
He's done well to get away with 4, hasn't he?
Aye, well, aye. So it's four.
Is that explain it for you, David?
Aye, and also, well, do you think any action will be taken on, is it Ryan Kent?
Ryan Kent?
I mean, what did he try to squat a fly, didn't he? And he missed. Are you asking me, would I take any action on Ryan Kent, or do I think there'd be any action?
From an unbiased perspective, aye.
As an unbiased perspective, it wouldn't surprise me if I was taking any action on Ryan Kent. I just want to know how he missed.
I think he means he's got a red card. He'll get a red card.
He'll get a red card, Ryan. He will. He lifted his hands on the football pitch, and you sound quite a young lad, mate. And we can't condone people lifting their hands on the football pitch. It's going to be a red card, isn't it?
How old are you, David?
I don't know what to say.
How old are you, son?
You young enough to play football, David?
Aye.
Aye. So you wouldn't like somebody lifting their hands on the park against you, would you?
No, definitely not.
Aye.
You know, David, I think somewhere along the line that the club. My thoughts are the club should appeal Morelos' red card just for badness. They should appeal it, because if they're going to give him a 4-game ban, we've got a huge game coming up at Ibrox on Wednesday night against Hearts.
I don't think they can appeal it because he's lifting his hands. He's had intention to hit him.
Well said, young man.
Yeah, but he can't put in an appeal.
No, he can't.
Whether it's allowed or not, he can't.
No, he can't.
Because
for violent conduct,
okay,
he can't.
Right, you're right enough. Okay.
Well said, young David. You've got
well said, young man.
Young David, you can come and join the panel anytime you get me a friend with a lot of together, mate. Right, listen, David. Thanks for the call, mate. Don't be a stranger. Don't be afraid to call in soon, mate. All right.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, see you. Bye.
See you later, mate. Cheers. Don't mind me a bit of brains there, Bridge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aye.
Well, I went for the sublime to the ridiculous after last night, which we'll not discuss, but that was a nice call. That was a good lad.
It's a schooling, mate. It's a schooling.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That fantastic. Well done, son.
You know, brilliant, young David. Great call, and it's hard to condone. You know, a heat of the battle. We've all done things on the football park, Bridge. You know.
Yeah.
You know. But the second, Blue Star. You and Jimmy didn't think McCrory would be anywhere near the team yesterday. The majority of people wanted McCrory in. It was a gamble. I don't think it worked.
No, I think he had him playing exactly the way some of you said he would. They had him and Jack basically trying to sit. And for me, you could see a couple of times he would go a few yards forward with the ball, and it was as if he wanted to keep going, and then he would automatically shudder and come back the way. But no, him and Jack, I didn't think. I'll hold my hands up tonight. I'll say for once that I actually thought most of the balls that Arfield.
He never gave the ball away at all.
No, he didn't, and he found most of the time he did find most of our players, unlike some of the other guys we had. But to be fair, if he was meant to be up front, no, that certainly didn't work, because at no time did Arfield cause them any bother going forward. But certainly when he did get the ball, he at least found his own teammates with it.
I thought Ryan Jack. I thought didn't have the greatest again, but he could have been a hero yesterday. JFK.
Yeah.
Or the one, or Kent laid it back to him and he put it on the bar.
Yeah, that was. We were all like probably yourself, jumping up and down. No, how did they miss it? But it wasn't. It just wasn't there for us at the end up. We kind of ran out of steam a wee bit. It's just really disheartening. As I say, yesterday I was angry yesterday, but the day I'm down, because they were there for the beating.
They've got a crochet there. We've been joined by George Logan, JFK.
And a big Georgie boy.
Oh. Come on, George. He's gone. He's there. He's on mute, Jim, with JFK.
Come off mute, George.
Off mute, George. Good man.
Doing a bridge man. Sorry about that, boy.
Doing a bridge man, eh? Bridgeman will be taking classes after the show. In fact, he's going to run them on a Tuesday afternoon if anybody's interested.
Blue started, he was going to give me some technical tips.
Aye.
That'll be some class, wasn't it, JFK?
Well, I think somebody needs some anger management lessons, but we'll not get into that.
Right, George, how we doing, mate?
Yeah, aye, all right. By the way, I am gutted about the result yesterday. Absolutely. The same as everybody else, but take positives for it, Ox. I thought we played quite well in the second half. If it wasn't for the second and a half, now if buts or maybes, but we could only win that game and give them something to think about it. I've been saying all along, I think that's the league done now, so that's fair enough. I can accept that. But what somebody said earlier on about Alfredo missing 4 games, I wouldn't let him play for the rest of the season, Ox. That'd be me. I'd sin bin him now. You can't trust him. I've backed him all season. And my war cry has been he'll score more goals and he'll more times he'll let us down. Well, he let us down in the semi-final. That's twice he's let us down now, and then he let us down yesterday. And he's coming out and apology. I didn't care about his apologies anymore. I would sell him at the end of the season. No if buts or maybe just sell him at the end of the season. Get a new striker and somebody we can trust. Because he's just, and I don't know if it's just today with Scottish football. I quite maybe believe it's today with Scottish football. We can't trust him, and we can't go forward with a guy like that, looking to win championships, win cups, and do well in Europe with a guy that's going to let his teammates down. Now, looking at Andy Halliday's passion yesterday, going out to Scott Brown, Stephen Gerrard was absolutely perfectly right. 100% fans in there yesterday, 2% Rangers fans. You go and celebrate your fans. But Andy Halliday had that passion in his heart to go there. I hope Andy Halliday had the passion in his heart to get into the dressing room after the game yesterday, Ox Day, and get a wee hod in Morelos and say, I hope you came what you've actually done. Because see apologies on Twitter and that means absolutely nothing, Ox. It's done and dusted now. That's him let us doing 3 times too many this season as far as I'm concerned. I just been him now.
I think I understand your anger, George. I've really not got a view in the moment because I've not really thought about it because I've not dissected where we go with Morelos yet. Now, whether he's going to stay or go, I don't know if that decision's been made before yesterday because you never know in football. But what I will say, I agree with your point, is that when he goes away and he goes and plays in somewhere else, so let's say he goes to Spain or he goes to England, he'll not get sent off the same because people don't play the game the same way we do. George?
He'll be playing for a team that isn't hated.
On you go, George.
That's my point, Ox. I don't think he will be sent off as much. And I'll be interested to watch the laddie's career. But the anger I feel yesterday, and I hope the rest of the players feel the same. A couple of boys let us down. I'm not going to start, but I take more positives to it. Ryan Jack yesterday. Ryan Kent. I thought it was excellent again, Ox.
And by the way,
Andy Halliday should be in that team every single week now, just for his passion. You need guys like that in your team. And a few of these guys.
George, I get your point. I love Andy. I want him to keep him at the club. He's a squad player, mate. If we're about to win championships and go further, Andy's cover.
You need. I think you need boys with skill. You need boys with certain things, and you need guys with heart in your team. You'll not just go through a full team of just guys with skill in that. I think you need guys with passion and heart. I think I'm going to say, I think you need guys in your team that's got to hate that lot. And that's exactly what Andy Halliday does. And I've said it for the last few weeks. I've said it for probably the last few months, actually. I think Andy Halliday should find we should find a place in that team for Andy Halliday somewhere else, because we need that heart and passion. He's not the most skillful player in the world. He's not the most, but he's got the passion, he's got the heart. And I think that goes a long, long way in a Rangers jersey, Ox.
Can I come in here, Ox?
Oh, well, what's George?
Hello? Can I come in here, Ox?
No, we've been joined by a caller.
All right, there you go.
Evening, caller.
Hi, Slowly, how you doing?
Well, I don't know if I've seen me. I lost George and Wally. George, you back with us?
Hello, Ox, you hear me now?
Aye, I don't know what happened there. Oh, Skype went mental. That must have been you. GFK gave it a fright.
No, mate, I've got a handsome looking face, mate, you know that.
I know that. Quite cute for your age, really, ain't you?
Oh, thanks very much.
For the radio.
He's a shocker, that Ian. A shocker saying that.
Oh. He's probably right, but a shocker.
I've got some of the old school photos, but you ought to see it.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
He's not changed a bit, really.
No.
Where the news boys will take it when the panel. I'll start with Fox. He's a very, very fair man. George is annoyed with Morelos, and I get it. Yesterday, right up until this afternoon, when I started looking at stuff for the show, I was the same. I was in the same boat as George. Where are you now, Fox?
I don't know where I'm at now, mate. I don't think that we should get rid of him. I think he can learn his lesson. We've said it all season, and he's let us down on numerous occasions. I think the severity of the one he gets sent halfway on Sunday, and the words Stephen Gerrard's come out, find him. I think we might get through to him, mate. If he's no off in the summer, I would punish him further by no letting him play for the rest of the season. Let him get his head together, get him some help about his quick temper, and hopefully he'll be the player he was on the football part, scoring goals next year.
Blue Star and GFK. GFK.
I agree with George. I don't think it's a chance we should be taking. If it happens again, I know ifs and buts and all that, but I think his actions yesterday has probably devalued him. I think that there'll be clubs out there maybe thinking that we want to get rid of him, and they might not want to for paying the money that we've all talked about, the 15 to 20 million. But me, honestly, I don't want it to go in the cheap, but I think that it's time for him to go. You know, it's all right he's saying there that he maybe learn. I can understand what Fox is saying, but what happens if we come to next season and then we get through the same merry-go-round again? No, that for me, I don't want to go and see my team reduced to 10 men every other week, and we need another striker. And I don't know if there's another striker out there that's the same ilk. Alfredo, I love him as a player. I agree with Fox. I'm not into this petulance thing. He lives and plays on the edge, and I love that, and I love the way he does that. But he needs to learn to grow up a wee bit, and he's got to learn that if he gets a wee niggles after people like the Lego Munch and that, he's got to try and stand up and be counted, because we all know the referees are not going to protect him. So I would rather cut my losses and go for
can I come in there? Ox, what would have happened? Ox, what would have happened if? And I know it's all ifs and maybes, but if we hadn't put on a decent performance in the second half and we'd attained a doing, do you think there's any Rangers fan out there, seriously, that would have said we should hang on to him? Not a chance.
Yeah.
And and it's all down to money, we all know that, and every player has his price, and that goes for any club. So if a decent offer comes in, I think Stevie G more or less told you yesterday, if a decent offer comes in, there's no argument about it. He's away. Plus the fact, even if we kept him for next season, and I know what Ox is saying, but even if we kept him for next season, have a bit like Jimmy there, we wouldn't be able to get like for like, but we would have to bring in a minimum of 2 cracking strikers next year. That's going to cost big money. And even if we get rid of him, we're still going to have to bring in a minimum of 2 strikers, because what we've got, the new guys, is nowhere near good enough. And I go back to what Jimmy said about 2 minutes ago. He would like to have seen our manager bringing on another forward. Ox, for me, I think it was perfectly evident whenever he brought Defoe on. For me, you could see our 2 guards, he's okay, but see, for actually running outside the box, into the box, the guy's not got the legs. He definitely hasn't he?
I think Stevie G and the recruitment staff, they might have to look at some of the maturer players they're bringing in, because let's be honest with you, we thought Macaulay would have stayed fit, Defoe, and I think if he gets game, Stephen Davis will show up all right because of the way he plays the game. But Defoe, who's a finisher, but you still need that bit of pace.
100%.
And Big Macaulay, I've showed that you've got to be careful in the players you bring in. Morelos, where do you stand on it, Bridge?
Well, I have to say that I'm sympathising with what Foxy said. I think we'd be throwing. We don't want to throw him in the scrap heap. I personally don't think we should. He's going to get he's got a heavy ban, and I was wrong. I thought we might be able to appeal it, but we can't. So he's going to take his next 4 games. It depends where that falls if we're in the top 6. It depends where it falls, which game Celtic want to play us in. Do you know what I mean? Or rather the SPFL. But I think they're one and the same anyway. So somewhere along the line, our game against them, they may want to pick the second game in, which I think that would include part of Alfie's ban. If not, if it's not the first or second, then he'd be free to play against Celtic, because we've got 2 games, haven't we? 2 Hearts.
2 games, and then
it's a split.
I've got a funny feeling our game against them will be the last game of the season.
Right. Well, I think he gets his 2 games, and we're in the split, and we have to do well in those 2 games. We have to prove that we can actually play well without him. But I do think we need to give him another chance. He's come out with an apology, and I think one of the things that our club should do is that during this 4-week ban he's got, they should insist that he goes for English lessons. They must insist, even the rudiments, rudimentary English, because he must be picking up things. I don't know what he's picking up. I don't know if he doesn't understand half the things being said to him, and he's just lashing out. That's what I think. Something like that's going on.
Can I come in there, Oxshire, please?
There you go, mate.
Bridge, can I ask you a question, mate? What do you think any use is going for English lessons? The guy needs to see it. No, can I?
Well, for me,
what is English got today?
I think my grammar could improve sometimes, GFK.
Sorry?
I think sometimes my grammar could improve.
Oh, well, I mean, I just can't understand what going for no. Is he to go and see a psychologist or an anger management guy?
Well, I never got a chance to finish. Yes, we need to help him in any way that it means. And I think one of them should be that he has to go to an English lessons of some description every day to picks up working English. I'm not saying he can't speak English at all, because I don't know.
No, would you not rather see we cut our losses? And would you like to? I mean, what happens next season, Bridge, if we get through the same rigmarole again?
Exactly, you can't depend on him, Bridge.
So, I mean, again, a guy.
No, I'm trying to say to you, I sympathise greatly with what Foxy says, and I don't think we should put him in the scrap heap. I think there are ways he can be helped. And
you've mentioned the scrap heap. We're going to get decent money.
No. From a Rangers perspective, you don't want him to play again for us.
No, I want to play him.
Right, so you don't want to play him. I want
to play him the rest of the season. Once he's
that's fine. We understand that. That's fine. What I'm trying to say is I sympathise with what Foxy says, and I wouldn't like to see him being put in the scrap heap, and that's him finished for Rangers. I would like to see him playing for Rangers. He can get 2 games or maybe 3 games out of it. And we should do everything we can, because he's a fabulous player. He's the best player we've got. What we need to do is somehow or other get him the help that he needs. And one of those things, I'm just saying that's maybe a luxury, but I would suggest he gets some English lessons. And that might help him out and manage to get him through to the end of the season. I just hate to think that young lad, he's put, just about 30 goals in, and we're saying we don't want him. I don't know. I'd be loath to think that Rangers would do that to him, but we might. You might be right. You might be right.
Quinny Rocks. The reason I say what I say about, I mean, I've defended them and I've defended them and I've defended them. Centre half against Aberdeen, centre half against Aberdeen again, missing Celtic games, missing semi-finals, and then that one yesterday. That was the final straw for me. I said to everybody on Friday and Saturday night I was talking about it. I think he was a £10 million player. I thought we were going to score 10, 15, 20 million. I think it was a £10 million player. And I do believe you've got to score an Old Firm game for the people to actually take count. That's what happened with Dembele. He scored a hat-trick, and that's why he was up at the 20 million mark. The boy Edward, you pay 9 million for him. That's what he does. If that boy had scored for us yesterday in that Old Firm game, he'd have went to that £15 million. And that's the difference. See, to be honest now, I can't people hang me. We're going to give 8 million for him now. It's as simple as that, because he's a crackpot. And I don't think we can. And people have got to say, "Oh no, you're just turning on the guy." I'm not turning on him. He's had that many chances with Rangers fans, and he's let us down so many times, and we can't allow him to let us down any more. Semi-finals, finals, missing the last games of the season. Games we've got to win against that lot. We've beat them in our place this season. We wanted to beat them now in their place just to see if we can go to that next level, and he's let us down again. We just can't take it anymore. I would rather bring in a guy who can maybe help us out a wee bit.
George is right. Can I hold on a second? I just wanted to say, George, you're absolutely right. And I'm all I'm saying is my sympathy is with what Foxy was saying. I think we might be a bit rash. I know he's let us down, but we need to give him the chance. He's came out, he's made his apology. He's given the apology based on what we're led to believe. I think we need to do whatever it takes to help him. If we can help him, we might not be helpable. You might go and sit down with a psychologist and tell the guy, beat it, I'm not telling you anything. I don't know. So I think we need to try, because I would love him to stay to the end of the season at least and shall we say, show that he can play a game of football without getting involved too much in the nasty stuff that's going on, the crazy stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Bridge, I agree. Don't get me wrong. There's no question he will be here at the end of the season. Of that, there's no doubt. But I would ask you this question. The very fact he's banned now for the next 4 games, see the pressure he's now put on our manager. See if we drop any more points. The pressure on Stevie G is absolutely humongous. It's enormous, because he got them, the way the other board will look at it now, and I'm not talking about Stevie G going, I don't mean that. What I'm saying is, for some of the fans now, the money that Stevie G wanted so far, according to Stevie G himself, he's been given, he's been backed. Therefore, for him to be backed for the players that he wanted to bring in, Ox, would you agree in this one? Therefore, we should have been closer to them. And I know I know that's down to our team performances, and I know we've drew too many games. But if we lose any more games, the points increase, and we're already 13 now when we could have been level. That's where I'm coming from. And Fred's put him in that position coming to the end of the season now, when we really would have needed him even more so.
I think that the point system, I mean, if the points were behind, I would put something to do to Morelos, but no all, because obviously the biggest groan you've heard at Ibrox is, and it was proven to be a possible penalty kick, when he got booked in the replay against Aberdeen, and everybody knew he was then suspended for the semi-final. People are able to get inside his head, wind him up, and take liberties with him. That's what
absolutely, Ox, but I'm talking about from now till the end of the season. These games, these 6 games we've still got. You can't
play 4 of them, mate, so you just have to deal with it. And then
but that's my point. The guys that we've got to bring in haven't been doing it for us.
No,
that's what I mean.
Short. They've looked short, you know.
Exactly.
It's time for maybe somebody to run in the team and see how it goes, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's always raw, George, when you've just had something like that happen. And if we hadn't have the baggage, we'd have been annoyed with him yesterday. But the baggage doesn't help it.
Can I ask one question about the guys? Did anybody watch the sports scene highlights of the game?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Go on then. Tell us what you thought. The 2 at the end. Tell us what you thought.
It was just no. I just wish that they would take Thompson's name away and associate it with Rangers. Right. It's absolutely disgusting I mean, we know what the other guys like. We know what he might say his name. You know the Michael Stewart, and that. But he's just fucking done it a story.
I've seen him play a game for us as well.
Aye, well that's how he doesn't like it because he thought he could have played for the Rangers, but it was disgusting. You know, everyone. I mean, I listened to Snide the first day of the night, and they're all sticking up for Brown, and they're all congratulating Brown for, as they say, even Alec Ray and all. He was live on Sky today and saying that he pulled Fred in and he made him, hit him with the elbow and all that carry on, and it's absolutely disgusting. I'm not condoning what Fred done. He deserved to go because he should never have lashed out his arm. For them to make the comments about Brown that he is a player, but he think. I mean, Keevan's a night said about. I mean, he's a consummate professional, and he sucked Alfredo in by doing his wee tricks and all that. But one thing about the Lego Muncher, and I just hope, because we've not mentioned it, there's footage going about at the end of the game, when just before the Andy Halliday situation, and he started to give the up your arm to the Rangers fans. Yeah. Right, now, Andy Halliday when it was Andy Halliday, somebody will correct me if I don't, get banned for making the same gesture at an away game. So it'll be interesting.
He never got banned for putting his hand up when we scored a goal.
I know that, but they said it was an inflammatory gesture. What I'm saying is that Brown did that. Right, so it'll be interesting to see tomorrow. As far as I know, the referee has passed his report on to the compliance officer, and that'll be dealt with tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. We know ourselves what's going to come out of that, and it's going to be that Ryan Kent will get at least a 2-game ban. Because, guys, it's violent conduct, and it can be given up to 4 games.
Can I come back on that, Jimmy? Can I come back on that?
Yes,
just listen to it, and I'm not being funny when I say this. Ryan Kent apparently had coins thrown at him. Right?
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's at a corner kick, right? So that's happening at Celtic Park. There's no denying it. At Celtic Park, security's supposed to be top notch. They had fans invading the pitch, jumping across the barriers onto the pitch.
Obviously, they'll have on him on CCTV and other season tickets.
But one's got a Wayne with him. One's got a 2-year-old Wayne with him. Really and truly. And our young centre forward, we've spoken about him for a couple of months now, and we've said how frail his psycho is, because a psyche rather, and somewhere along the line he snaps. But he's now been, you could call it, trolled. They are actually taking it, and see the big fella for Kilmarnock, Broadfoot. He should have been banned. He should have got a 2-game ban. Sorry, he should have got done for that, because what he's done, they've set a precedent, and now it's the exact same thing. Scott Brown did the same thing, and apparently, going by what I saw, the BBC cut the film at the bottom, so they didn't show Scott Brown's foot.
What do you watch it for?
No, I'm only saying, these are the things that are happening, right?
It's the old sticking your finger in the electric socket.
Yes, but now we, as a port, we're turning in and saying, let's get rid of Morelos because he's no good to us, shall we say? He's always off the park. When in fact, somewhere along the line, maybe if we could iron it out a wee bit, that's all I'm saying. And think that if we do this and let them go, or is that not what they want? They've been trying to get rid of him since the start of the season.
I know we're coming into the break now shortly, right? But I'm not going to compare him with Suarez, but Suarez had to leave English football for the same situation, and look at the player he is. And nobody wants Fred to stay more than me, but can we take a chance on him?
I think the boys have got a point, Murray, but I get what you folks are coming for. If our first game of the season happens to be Aberdeen at Ibrox and Morelos is playing, we'll be thinking, are we going to be down to 10 men? Is that your point, GFK?
It is, aye. And it's good back on that merry-go-round again. I mean, I totally agree with what Bridge and Fox is saying up to a certain point. Right, I'd love Rangers to be able to turn in and knock back 15 million and keep Alfredo, because I'm like all you guys, I think he's a fantastic player, but he just, when the Scottish football I've got it in for him. Media as well. And that's a sad state of affairs. But I don't
But
want...
so have we, Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. So have we. We've got it in for him now.
No,
That's all I'm
how
saying.
can you say that?
Well, what about the times? What about the times, Jimmy?
Well, we'll start one at a time. On you go, Fox.
Well, what about the kick-up we had out in the press after the 1-0 game at Ibrox, where Morelos skied it out the same as Brown? It was all he should have been sent off. Christie drove his studs into his leg, and Alfie gave him a wee dunt back. They wanted him sent off for that. He hurdled one of their fullbacks and accidentally caught him with the heel of his shoe. They wanted him sent off for that. In the same game, Brown elbowed, clear as you like, Arfield running forward with the ball. It's what the press want. They want the boy out. Give him help, mate. Give him help to get...
I know that, Fox. I'm not saying get rid of him. I think we're all getting Marcel on cross purposes here. What I'm saying here is I'm asking a question. I've give you the answer. I think, unfortunately, we might need to cut our losses because Oxshire put a great analogy. He says, what happens if we're playing... It doesn't matter who we're playing the first game of the season, but what if we are playing the Shaggers and he's there? We're going to cheer him and he gets sent off again. Right? What do we do? Do we say, oh, I told you so? Or we'll give him another season to get his head together? So, my thinking is if somebody comes in and offers decent money from them, me personally, I think we should cut our losses. And it's not
that was always going to be the case, mate. Anyway, get yourself some mute. We're going to have a tune.
How many years ago, my boys, I left the Glasgow town. I followed the pull of the Yankee land and here I've settled down. Although I meant no Brixton Cross and my friends so near and dear, but I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Singing Talk of California where the sun shines all the year. Singing Bama about your Broadway light so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer if we only had the Rangers over here. For they're the finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. For the boys who fear no noise, my lads, and I mean this quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Singing Buck of California where the sun shines all the year. Singing Bama about your Broadway light so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer if we only had the Rangers over here. Finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. For the boys who fear no noise, my lads, and I mean this quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Singing Talk of California where the sun shines all the year. Singing Bama about your Broadway light so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had the Rangers over here.
Thanks for that, Fox. And once again, can I give a big shout out to the Bournemouth True Blues who I watched again with yesterday, and that song, I don't think some of the players realise how many people all in the world, how much the Rangers mean to them.
Yep.
Ox, can I ask you a question, mate?
As long as it's not too hard, mate. I would have
I
hard
know.
day.
Does anybody know just how many games Alfie's missed through suspensions?
12.
Well, my abacus isn't that big, mate.
12.
Obviously, he's been
Is it,
12
Jimmy?
games.
12?
12 games.
Well,
Well,
how
there's
many goals he would have scored if they missed all the games.
Exactly, Ox, and look, that's almost a quarter of the season. Does that not say something really? I mean, for me, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, we can put it. I mean, he gets sent off in UEFA Cup as well.
See the one for me as well, Ox? Can I come in there?
Yes, mate.
See that you just said it there about the UEFA Cup. I mean, Bridgman says about it's getting to the point where we're starting to want to get rid of him as well. Well, if that's what people want to start thinking, that was his last chance saloon for me, Ox. And I'm one for saying it's maybe Scottish football, but he's been sent off in Europe as well. He's letting the team down and letting the team down. Now, see what the Lego Muncher done to him yesterday, Ox. That's what happens in football. That's what happens. It happens all over the world. See if you've got a wild guy in your...
I would do that to you 5-a-sides, George.
Exactly. It happens to me. I remember I played 5-a-sides one time and a boy said to me, look at that. Burst my foot today. I said, how'd you do that? He said, you kicked me. I said, oh my God, you were in my team. And that's just what happened, Doc. So it's just one of these things that absolutely happened. It happens all over the world. And we can't go through another season allowing this... guy to let us down again. He's let us down in semi-finals, he's let us down in UEFA Cups, and he's let us down in the last game that I think we had a chance clawing anything back for that lot yesterday. It's not that we want rid of him, Ox, it's just that we want players to play. Jimmy's just said there, 12 games he's missed. Let's add another 12 goals onto his tally for the season, and another 5 or 6 points onto our tally for the season if he'd been on the game. Games against Aberdeen he's missed. Games against Hearts he's missed. Games against Hibs he's missed. Absolutely shocking. We can't go in for another season thinking, let's just get him to start speaking English, he might be alright. I think it's time we just cut our losses with our mocks. And I'm not just saying this because I'm hanging about yesterday, because I was raging about the semi-final he missed as well when we had Big Sadiq up front. He missed that because he's petulant. We're not allowed to say that because he's a Rangers player. That's what it is, petulance. If he'd turned round yesterday and done it exactly what Scott Brown does to everybody else and laughed in Scott Brown's face, Scott Brown would have been the one that cracked. But he's not got that mentality. I mean, he just got to throw elbows and punch. I don't actually think it'll be happening that hard, to be honest. But the point of the matter is intense air-ups, and we can't allow this to go in anymore.
Plus the fact, Ox.
Well, callers coming in. One guy, he's late in the night because he got put off his dinner yesterday and he's had to make up for it. How we doing, Rudy?
How we doing, Ox? Hi, guys. How we doing? How you doing, Rudy? Hi, Bridgeman. What'd you have for your dinner? Come on. Spaghetti carbonara. Spaghetti carbonara. It was lovely. Yeah. It was lovely. Did you make it or your wife? Oh, you've got to be joking. I wouldn't know where to start.
Before you go to Rudy, Ox, would you take the caller on the phone, please? Ox?
Hello, caller. How we doing, mate?
All right, guys. It's Wheels.
All right, Wheels. Get yourself on Skype, mate, yeah? And come in, yeah?
Right,
there's a lot of phone callers trying to come in. Can you do that?
Yep, no bother.
Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers. Carry on, Rudy.
I'm going to try and defend Alfredo a wee bit here. I've never seen a player in any league, never mind the Scottish League, Ox, I've never seen a player anywhere targeted the way Morelos is. He's targeted by pundits in this country. He's targeted by the press. He's targeted by other managers in the league. He's targeted by players, and not just one or two players in a team, 3, 4 and 5 of them, who'll all take shots each of them. We know he's got a hot temperament. We know that. We've seen it, and that's why they target him. Before Alfredo Morelos came here, he never got a single red card in Finland, that boy. And he's picked up all the red cards since he come here. And we know some of it he's brought on himself. He's targeted by referees because of the agenda that's pushed in Scottish football by the punditry and by the press. He certainly can't lift his hands to another player. It's as simple as that. Me personally, I would love to put one on Scott Brown. But you can't do that in a football match. It's as simple as that. We need to find a way, if he's going to stay next season, which I doubt very much, Ox, we need to find a way of trying to help the boy. I'm a Bridgeman.
we need to try and help him out a wee bit here. And Steven Gerrard came out yesterday after the match and was angry with him, and obviously we were all angry with him as well, you know.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Rudy. I'm glad you mentioned that. Do you think this would be a good time to hear to the manager? And
I would think it'd be an opportune time.
Aye, and then Fox, can you answer the message? Cheers, mate. Everybody get yourself a mute and let's hear from our manager, Steven Gerrard, MBE.
Stephen, your players gave you so much there this afternoon. How do you look back on it?
Well, 99% of them did. Obviously, again, we've been hurt by ill discipline and fallen into the trap of being wound up on a few occasions. So, yeah, a lot of the performance I'm very proud of. I learnt a lot about my players today in terms of who's with me and who's prepared to roll the sleeves up, especially when the challenge got more difficult than it was in the first place. So, yeah, you know, when the dust settles, I'm sure I'll be proud of a lot of the performance. But the reality is, we've lost a big important game, and at the moment, it obviously is difficult to take at the moment.
So obviously, it hinges on the red card. What was your view of it and what you've seen so far of it?
Look, I mean, it'll be a debate. It'll be whatever people talk about it, blah blah blah. But the reality is, if you raise your arm, you leave yourself wide open. Obviously, he's been provoked in the first place, but it's happened on too many occasions now, and I've gone above and beyond, and I've backed Alfredo more than enough, and you know, I can't defend him anymore. Is the reality? So he'll be punished internally for it, and we'll move forward.
Albeit with the 10 men, particularly second half. The character, the mentality, everything I've been asked about all season, your players showed it.
Yeah, for some reason we focused even more, and we had more belief and more character from the moment we were hurt in the game, and we go a goal down, and then all of a sudden everyone rolls the sleeves up, everyone believes. We dig in, we hold on till half time, and then from half time until the final stages we were outstanding. We looked like a better team 10v11. And we still look like the better team 10v10. I think it was there for the win, never mind the draw. We have a great chance at 1-1 with Ryan Jack. Couldn't manage to get it over the line. And then even at 2-1, we have a chance to take something from the game with Joe. Joe's got the chance to put the defender and the ball through the net. But we couldn't manage to do it. So it's a frustrating one, standing here right now. It's tough to take, but I agree with what you say. There's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot of character shown today, but you get nothing for that.
And frustrating that both Celtic's goals have come from your possession. I guess you'll look back on that, but
yeah, I mean, individual mistakes have hurt us on a lot of occasions this season. So we need to eradicate them as quick as we can. From now till the end of the season, we need to finish as strong as we can. Try and not give teams an advantage because it's happening too much at the moment. And the players are hurting themselves.
How do you look ahead to the game on Wednesday against Hearts? A quick turnaround.
Well, it's a tough question to answer right now. You know, I'm half an hour after an Old Firm, and there's a lot of emotions running high. There's a lot of hurt at the moment, so give me a chance to dust myself down. But we'll be ready for kick-off for Hearts. And you know, sometimes in football as a player, you've got to look deep. You've got to look in the mirror, look deep, and our fans deserve a reaction. You know, the support we had today, even though it was only a minority in the stadium, I thought they were excellent. It's just a shame we couldn't get them something from the game today.
All right, thanks for that, lads. On you go, Rudy, with your thoughts, and then we'll be joined by a couple of callers. On you go, mate.
Well, I mean, Steven Gerrard saying in his interview there that he's defended him, you know. Who's come out for Rangers and defended him properly? When have you ever heard anybody come out for Rangers and properly saying, well, wait a minute, look how this boy gets treated. Look how he's treated in this country by the press, by the punditry. The boy can't even go out for a night out because of the vermin, because of the way they treat him and the things they say to him and how they attack him when he's out in the street. No wonder he wants to leave this country. I couldn't blame that boy come the end of the season. I actually think, Ox, that what's best for him is to leave this country now because of the way he's been targeted. It doesn't help.
I can understand that. You could argue there's a form of racism.
Well, exactly. You've seen some of the reporting on him, haven't you? You know, if you said that about anybody else, any other ethnic group, let's say, you would be lambasted for it. But it's okay because it's Alfredo. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. It's vile how they treat this boy. And for me, come the end of the season, if he turns around and says to himself, I've had enough of this country, I don't think you can blame Fox. You heard him a few short weeks ago. The boy can't. He did an interview. I think it was one of the papers back in South America. He says he can't even leave his front door to go for a night out because of the way the vermin treat him when he's out. And, you know, and it's just, for me, it's sickening to hear that kind of stuff. Because see, that was a Celtic player that was coming out and say that, it would be everywhere. It'd be all the people.
Here, mate. Listen, we've got a few callers coming in, Rudy.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
I've got Stevie on the phone, but we'll go to Willie first. Evening, Willie.
How's it going, guys?
How are you doing, mate? All right?
All right. It's braces for Canada.
Oh, hey, mate. How's things on it?
Aye, all right. Listen, so I'm here listening, right? And I'm mad as anybody else at Alfredo, right? But, I mean, say we go out and we sell him and we buy say we buy a Spanish guy, 7 million, bring him in striker, and they treat him the exact same, the press and Celtic kick him about till he reacts, and then we have to be mad at him. I mean, where does it end? With this, are we to get rid of every striker that they're afraid of?
Exactly, Brycey. Well said, mate.
Oh, by the way, I'm getting pulled into their argument. GFK. I'm getting behind that, Fredo. I want to give my number 9 shot next season.
No, I can understand it.
I'm going to make him captain. I was going at the start of the show. I was getting rid of him. Now I'm going to make him captain.
Oxtear, don't forget about Nathan Adua.
I can totally understand what the guys are saying there, 100%. But I just think there's a time coming when we've got to cut our losses. I've said here time and time again, he's a fantastic player. But I know that if we bought somebody else, it would do the same. But I just think we need to start from scratch with another.
Right, that's a fair comment. Anyway, we've been joined by Wheels, but before we go to Wheels, Roger Powder Wheels, we've got the one and only Stevie on the phone. How we doing, Stevie?
All right, Oxford, mate. How's the boys, the panel, Bridge, Jimmy?
We're back on the solids, mate. We're back on the solids, mate.
I know. Oh, sick as a parrot, man. You know, the second thing for me was...
Stevie.
Oh, that's what I was just about to say. You know, we had them in the ropes 10 minutes after we scored there, you know, and just unfortunately, I've watched it time and time again. I can't, for the love of me, understand what Tav was doing. I can't get I'm so angry because we had them, guys. We had them on the ropes. There's millions of positives with that second half. The first half, dear God, and then we came into the second half and I thought we played really good. I thought we'd done all right. We shot ourselves in the foot. But listen, guys, Rudy stole a lot of my thunder. Alfredo's beat before he goes on apart with the press.
Yep.
And the boys no getting a fair crack at the whip. No, everybody looks at stats. As Rudy says, Finland, nothing not occurred there. Anywhere he's been not occurred there, he comes here, and we know again, the boys hung before he even stands in the pit, goes on a blade of grass. I just think the new guys, the damage is done. We all need to unify. We all need to get behind the wee man. No, hang on even further. Listen, he get done. Let's be honest. Brown done what a captain should have done yesterday. He noised us up, he kicked, he lied, he scratched, and he done everything that you would want for a captain, guys. Let's be honest. All right, I hate his antics, but he won the game for his team yesterday, and the wee man gets sucked in, and he just has to learn. He has to learn to be cuter with what he's doing. And the bottom line is, guys, the damage is done. All us hanging the wee man and wanting rid of him, is they going to help matters? We need to unify. We need to get behind them. We need to get behind the club. The guys at the top of the board are looking at what we're looking at. And if they're not gritting their teeth the way we're all gritting our teeth, well, there's something not right. And I could guarantee, I hope and pray that they're going to give Stevie G a few quid to spend, and I hope Alfredo stays and we get behind him, because the boy is getting a fair crack at the whip. How long on this show have we been saying that the papers, the TV, the media, everywhere, social media, they're slaughtering us. They're slaughtering us. They're just propagandists for them across the road, the pedos across the road. We need to unify here, guys, and we'll do well. We just need to stick together and get behind Alfredo and get behind the team, because yesterday was a better one to take, because I thought we were getting something yesterday, guys. We had them on the ropes.
It's all right to come in, you get somebody waiting.
JFK, on you go, mate.
On you come, Wheels, on you come, mate. You'll be waiting.
Right, this is going to be interesting, right? I've got a wee scenario for you, and anybody that wants to come in, right?
Right, enough, that's enough.
Right, so, right, so wee scenario for you, right? So, say I'm a football agent, right? I've got two players. I've got one who has got a perfect disciplinary record, and I say, right, this guy has never been booked, sent off. He'll get you 10 to 15 goals a season. Or I've got this other guy who's a wee bit fiery. He's going to get sent off a few times, but he'll get you 25 to 30 goals a season. What one are you going to pick?
Good point, Gary. Well put, mate.
It depends what happens in the times when he gets sent off, mate.
Well, see, next season, guys, would you agree that just what Rudy and that said there, that he's a marked man this season? What on earth has he got? What on earth is
next season?
Correct, Talks. Correct, because we know we've got to stop them next season. And it'll
he can learn for it. Listen, Blue Star, he can learn for it. I know he should have learned by now, but he knows his ticket's hanging on a shaky peg now. So he's going to learn. Let's step behind him. Let's unify him. Let's help the boy. He's only young. Who else are we going to bring in for the money that we've got? That's going to give you 30 goals a season?
This is the first time he's been punished. This is the first time we've punished him as well. So you can't blame him that we've no punished him and then knew we punish him and he's gone. We've only punished him this time.
The boy walking off the park yesterday was punished enough. You could see it. He could see it. He couldn't believe it. He knows what he's getting. Listen, he's copping it for every camera sitting there. I mean, they're filming before he goes on the park, guys. And now we're hanging him even after the park. We're all going against him. We're playing into their Scott Brown and all the beggars' sons.
That's exactly
the way we're all talking. Just get behind the boy.
Stevie.
Get behind him. Stick by him. See when your rain's down in the fucking dirt. Get behind him and back him. Give the boy a chance. 30 goals he scored for us, and you said it there. 12 games he's missed. Before he came to this country, he never even got booked, Tally. 1 booking or 2 bookings in Finland. Come on, get behind him. The media's hung the boy before he goes on the park, guys. Let's get behind him. Let's get behind Stevie G and stop all this. I know some of the points he's got are valid, but let's keep it in-house and let's get behind the Rangers and get behind Alfredo. I mean, to me, I know there's another thing that sticks in my cross. We're going to do it and do it right. Cav's never a captain. Never a captain. He's puff. But he's a good player and he's a nice lad. But we don't need nice lads in our team. We need fighters. And we've got one. And he's fighting for it. He's no fight. He's doing a bit of silly stuff. We know that. But the bottom line is, let's get behind him. Don't kick the boy when he's doing. Get behind him. He's 20-odd years of age. He's banging in goals for his 30 goals. Take his goals out of this season. Where would we be?
Exactly.
I take it Myra hasn't won for the bingo yet.
Listen, is Fox here? Is Fox on tonight?
Aye, he's there, mate.
Listen, tell him I've got us a couple of passes for the Kaya Hansen, okay?
Right,
so that's how I feel. I could go a wee sherbet at the weekend. Tell me he's up there. I'll get it sorted out.
Can I say one more thing, mate? Sorry.
On you go, Wheels.
Right. The other thing I wanted to say was, right, we've dropped 12 points when Alfredo has been sent off or suspended. So, what does that say for the other guys? Are we now saying that we can't win without Alfredo? Because that's the way that looks.
You can't even win with 10 men in a part all the time, mate.
No, but if those guys can't step up, forget when he's just sent off. When he's suspended, are we saying that we can't win with the guys that step up?
Aye, I'm saying that. Aye.
So we're a one-man team? Are you saying we're a one-man team?
Up front now, yes, we are.
I think Blue Star, we've got more troubles just now than up front, to be honest. If you look
I mean, if you're talking about
Blue Star,
goals-wise,
give me a
else
second.
is scoring goals.
Look, mate, give me a second. Right, we've got more troubles than up front. We've got a midfield that's not functioning properly, and you can go through this season where that midfield hasn't functioned. And you've heard me long and weary on here. You win and lose your games in the midfield. Simple as that. Then
you look at all the good players in the midfield, Rudy.
No, for a minute. Right, and then you look at the 2 goals we lost yesterday, Blue Star. Who was to blame for the 2 goals? In my opinion, it was Tav and it was Worrell that was to blame for the 2 goals that we lost yesterday.
The first goal, Candace is going to take some responsibility.
It takes a wee bit of responsibility. But look, if that had been New York's and you were in Worrell's position, would you know just I took the yellow card and took that boy out the game? Because that's exactly what I would have done. Tav's pass for the second goal was absolute schoolboy stuff.
Oh, man, I can't get it right.
Right, so we've got...
the sad thing about yesterday is Tav was arguably our second best player yesterday. In
the second half.
Right.
Yeah. But look at the second goal. Just look at the pass. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing? This is our captain. You know, we're talking about captains earlier on there. This is our captain. Schoolboy error, balls in the back of the net. We'll lose the game right at the end of the game, and we should have took something for that game. So we've got more problems than just Alfredo up front, I'm afraid. It's as simple as that. We've got more problems than that.
And listen, can I just say, we're inundated with callers tonight, so if anybody's getting the one today, go and do
Right, okay, listen, Ox, I'm Oxky, right? But guys, see, just before I go, let's unify. Let's keep things in-house. Let's get behind Stevie G and be Alfredo. Alfredo's got a rough deal before he even gets out of park, guys. Just remember that. And who else have we got to get? Bang 30 goals in a season at his age.
Stevie,
yes,
before you go, are you coming up with my seasons, or am I meeting you at the bistro?
Yes. No, I'll come tomorrow, Jimmy, after work tomorrow. All right, mate.
I wouldn't give him
what is it with you two?
I wouldn't give him anything, Stevie.
Right.
That's easy. That's code for bring me a bottle of vodka down.
Yeah.
Ready.
Different purposes. Right, night, Stevie. Always a
right, good night, lads. No surrender. No surrender. Let's get behind the troops, boys. No, need divide. Unity. All right, guys. Good night.
See you later, Steve. Can I ask you a quick question, mate?
Aye, on you go, bud. On you go.
Right. Earlier on, we were talking about, Alfredo not being able to go out and all that kind of stuff, right? Do you think maybe that's part of his temperament? Do you think maybe that has affected him?
I don't see why. How would it not affect somebody, Gary?
That's what I'm saying, but do you think that's why he is the way he is on the field? Because he's bringing all that. I know they say, leave your personal problems away from work, but maybe all that's in his head, and that's why he's the way he is.
I can't see why it wouldn't affect him. The boy can't go for a night out because of the vermin in this city and how they treat him. And yet it's not reported here in this country. He's got to go out with this country before he gets that into any sort of media platform, because they won't report it in this country because they're too busy sweeping stuff under the carpet in this country, as is their want. So how would it not affect him, Gary? Of course it affects him. He's a young guy. He's 22-year-old. He's just
away from him, Rudy. Away from him.
Because there's no way that we can suddenly just believe that ever since he's came to Scotland, he's became this aggressive player. Do you know what I mean?
Aggression's a big part of his game, Gary. Aggression's a big part of his game. I mean, people...
It was never sent off before he came here.
I mean, obviously... You'd have to look at the stats. He's been here for a couple of years. He's 22, I think, years of age. He's not played 1,000 games and not been sent off. Let's be honest about before we make comparisons. Anyway, we've been joined by another caller. Evening, caller.
It's Old Bear. Here's the what else?
How we doing, Old Bear? Feeling a bit older?
How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I was gutted yesterday with the result. I was gutted at half time, but I wasn't gutted during watching that second half.
No, I mean, the game's a game. No, I mean, what's been said about the game's all correct. But what I was thinking about is with Alfredo. I'm with Stevie with Alfredo. Shocking what they're doing to the boy. It's absolutely shocking. But what I'm thinking here is, you've got to understand, with Alfredo is a victim or a casualty of the war we've got with the press.
Yep.
The bridge keeps going on with the BBC. What's happening here, Ox and Bridge? is the BBC, because we've banned that reporter, the rest of the press have all closed ranks on us. And that's why we're getting all bad press right round the board. We Alfredo happens to be, this is their way of getting back at Rangers, but just keeping on that boy's back. And any other player they don't like, but especially we Alfredo. They're just victimising the guy. And Candace let the cat out the bag the other week there when he turned around and says, gave us an insight to what happens with Alfredo before a game. He says the referees come in and come up to Alfredo and tell him, none of your nonsense today. That means they're prejudging that boy before he even steps onto a park. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely victimisation. And it's racist as well. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but that's the way I feel.
Speaking about racism, I saw a wee clip today that Mr. Tavernier was called. It was given racist
abused. I hope the police are all right. I hope to shut that stadium too. Listen, we've also been joined by the Global Ambassador. Good evening, Mr. Global Ambassador.
Good evening, gentlemen. How is everyone? One and all. Were you at the ball game, big man?
No, I wasn't, mate. I wasn't.
Oh, sorry, I've just phoned you straight off the cuff. I've not been listening tonight, but I can imagine what we're all talking about.
Well, you give your thoughts and what you think what's happening. We'll just briefly, big man.
I would imagine you'd be busy. Look, the apology thing, I don't even see why he came out and he done that. I think it ranks. I think we need a new press officer. If trainers in the background thinking, then that's a good thing. I think the manager dealt with it quite eloquently. He'll be fined and he'll give his wages to Erskine or whatever charity. I'm just sick of Morelos. Look, if you're going to hit somebody, turn around and make sure it's a good one. If you're going to do it right and take what comes to you like a man. Don't be petulant and childish like the opponent was. We didn't lose that game because of him. I'm going to be a bit controversial here. We lost that game because of the manager. See, at the point when Tavernier played that ball, up to that point, I thought we came into the game really well. We were playing down the right-hand side. Candice and Tavernier were linking up well. Now, when he's played that ball back there, it was to Worrell, wasn't it? Goldson, sorry. When Tavernier's played that ball back there, I think he's been looking down that park, and there was nobody for him to play the ball to. So his decision, his wee friend isn't in front of him anymore, who 3 or 4 minutes before, the two of them were linking up well. We were getting penetrated. There was balls going into the box. We looked dangerous. Yet the manager, why did he have to go and change it? I spoke to my father about it. He's in the same mindset as me. Why did we need to change it? There was no need to bring on day players. We were playing all right at that time. I believe in my heart of hearts, if we didn't change it, we see you at the game. Maybe with a bit of luck, we actually score a winner. Yeah, it could have been.
We looked to me slightly.
But he changed. Yeah, but he changed it. Why did he change it? No, I'll tell you, the nights are going to boot for him if he doesn't get a result on Wednesday. At the end of the day, it's down to the manager. I'm sad that we lost. I can't blame Morelos for us losing. I think coming out with that apology just ranks. This was the time for a dignified silence. Say hee-haw. Andy Halliday, I'll give him his credit. A few of the players played no bad. First half, terrible. That's down to the manager again, I think. He's just not getting the players motivated. And I'm getting a bit pig sick at it, a wee bit pig sick at it. So that's my ramble for this morning.
All right. I don't know. I can't take it all in the panel because we're too many people on the call. But what I will say is, I think that Stevie G, when he got ahead of the team at half time, changed it and made us into the better team in the second half. Candice, for me, is part of the problem, not the solution. Tav, an absolute shocking mistake.
But would you agree that they were playing well together at that point? I would agree that
Tavernier was playing well.
But they linked up a couple of times. Well, you see all different, that's your opinion. That's good.
Aye, I mean, everybody sees it different. I thought Candice was stinking yesterday. I
didn't think he was good.
He ran about a lot and he worked hard. But, come on, GFK could do that.
Can I just come in on something there, Oxford, before we go any further?
On you go, Bridge.
It was just to say that I know that Morelos came out and put an apology out, but I saw something that in the follow earlier. Somebody said something similar to what the big Al was saying, the global ambassador. it wasn't an apology. It wasn't a general apology. Apparently, the press are taking it as a general apology for what he did. No, it was an apology to the team and the players and the club, not to the rest of the world. It was an apology to the Rangers players and to the club, as I say, and the manager. That's what it was about. So, in case anybody else is thinking, oh, we're telling the whole world I'm sorry for that, I don't think it was that at all. Sorry about that, guys.
I totally agree with Big Al. Just reiterated what I was saying earlier on. You know, I'm not wanting to hang Alfredo out to dry, but just I just think it's enough's enough, and we need to cut our losses. I can understand what Rudy's saying, and I can totally appreciate that. And obviously, my big pal Stevie for the drum, I can appreciate what he's saying. When a man's fallen, you need to pick him up and dust him down and pick him up and go forward. But at the same time, I still get the feeling that what happens if he does it next season again? Again, it's all if buts and maybes. So for me, I would rather go with what we've got to do and sell him. That's just my opinion. If he's there next season, he'll get my support as usual.
Of course. I'm the same as you.
All right, we've been joined by another caller. How are we doing, caller?
I think that was my radio. Sorry, guys.
I think there's another caller there. Or is that Old Bear?
I'm still here, mate.
Well, you still alive? Thank God for that, Old Bear.
I think, by the way, Oxtear, I think it's a scandal. I agree with the boys that said it. Absolute scandal that Morelos has been targeted the way he is, particularly by our press and media. It's just unbelievable that any young player, a 22-year-old, getting targeted like that, and the names they're calling them is nothing short of disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
What names have they called him, Brad?
What
names have they called him?
Buffoon.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones.
Come on now, what?
He's brought a lot of this.
Come on now,
He's brought a lot of this on himself with his own action.
I'm saying to you, you're calling him an idiot, a fool.
He is a buffoon.
Well, that's fine. That's your opinion.
But there's no problem with that. They've not called him a black bee or
that's your opinion.
Aye. But
that's fine.
Well,
I have to admit,
he's going to expect that.
I am oversensitive because I'll tell you.
Anyway, let me cut across you two. We've been jumping our caller. Even caller.
Hi, it's Willie again. I managed to get through it. I downloaded that Skype and every woman thing. I've not got the patience for these kind of things, I'll be honest with you. You hear me all right, aye?
Oh. No, I can't hear you, Willie.
I think we'll lose Willie.
I'm going to hang up, guys. I'm going to hang up and keep listening, but all the best, gentlemen. All the best.
All right. Cheers, Big Al. Always a pleasure. All Bear. We lost All Bear there. All the callers seem to drop to the call.
Can I come in here, Rox?
On you go, George. I thought you forgot me.
George is still there.
It's no about why to defend him and things like that. Cummins fan that always got riled up in Scottish football. But when I'm not what I keep going on about with Alfredo Ox, but he's let us down, and I ken people are trying to defend him, and that's good. Bridgeman saying people are calling him names. I think people are right to call him names, as long as what Big Al saying they're not calling him certain names. He is an idiot for what he done. There was other ways of going about it yesterday. If he was in the other team, Ox, I'll ask Bridgeman this question. If he was in the other team playing for that lot, would we have told somebody to go and give him it to try and get him sent? Of course we would, Ox, because that's what it's all about. That's professional foot, and that's what they do. Just looking at the thing we say now, Morelos on his own, 5 red cards this season. Hamilton 4, Hertz 5, Celtic 3. And that's the way it goes, Ox, all the way down to 1 red card. We can't, a team that's gone for the championship and European games in Europe and cups, we can't afford that, Ox. And I'm not saying that he's not a great goal scorer, because he's 22-year-old and he's banging in crazy amounts of goals. But if he hadn't been sent off the 5 times, hadn't missed the 12 games, how many more goals would have scored? That's the difference in what would happen yesterday if he wasn't on the game. I don't think we can continue to go along and support. I'm not saying we'll not support the wee guy till the end of the season, but if it was me, I wouldn't play him another game at the end of the season, and I would definitely transfer him.
George, I'll tell you what would help an mate. See if the referees and the linesmen in this country held other players to the same kind of standard that they had Alfredo to. That would help as well. Because you see players week in, week out get away with stuff no just on him, but in other Rangers players. You see them getting away with stuff week in, week out, and they don't even get a booking. We can go back to the Hibs game, you can go back to the Aberdeen game, you can go into some of the stuff that happened yesterday, some of the stuff that Scott Brown gets away with on a weekly basis. And none of these players are ever targeted in the press or by referees or by pundits. So
I think it's came to the point now we need to worry about ourselves, and that's my point. I think we need to stop boring about what other.
So every time we have a really good player that gets targeted by the press in this country, by the punditry, we should just get rid of him then.
No, we're not saying just get rid of him. He's acted like we're not saying just get rid of him because he's getting targeted. I'm saying get rid of him. I don't care what anybody says. I'm saying get rid of him because he's acting like an idiot and he's costing us games. He cost us semi-finals. He cost us that game yesterday, and he's cost us other games. And he was lucky not to cost us. In fact, if you go back to the first Old Firm game of the season when we played Damir there, we were down to 10 men because 9 men because of him as well. So is that because of that as well? He's cost us far too many games. I'm not saying just get rid of him because he's getting sent off. I'm saying getting rid of him because he's a liability, and that's the point of the matter.
He's some liability, George. 29 goals. Imagine where we'd be if he
had... Tab's
you know what I mean?
Tab's been a liability, so we should just get rid of him too, right? How many times he done a bad pass or fluffed something and gave up a goal? So we just move Tab out with him as well, right?
We're all arguing amongst ourselves here. It's not so much as the liability comes in. We're all saying here, why is he a liability? He's a liability because he wasn't available for the games because he was suspended. And all we've got, the one for me that stuck in my throat was a cup semi-final. I know that's going back. We didn't have any recognised striker for the cup final against the Sheep. And it was a terrible game to watch. It was rubbish up front, and that was the manager and Fernando. I can't get the bloody name out. Alfredo. It caused that. Right?
He should never have played against their United in the quarter.
He should never have played against their United. But it's all right saying people saying so we get rid of him for a liability. Aye, because if you're a liability, your aim job, your gaffer's going to get rid of you in any walk of life. So for me, he'll get my support if he's still there next season, but I would rather Rangers cut their losses. I'm not into all this name-calling rubbish and that we're talking about. He gets called this. Some of the things I still get called walking through different places, but sticks and stone. Come on, let's grow up here. If he's a £15 million player, take the money and buy somebody else, and let's move on. Because if he does the same next season, right, we'll all still be on here next season, all shouting and bawling. We should have get rid of him. Cut the loss for the show.
It's great for the show.
I know it's great for the show, but the fact of the matter is we seem to all now be arguing amongst ourselves because as soon as somebody says he's a liability, somebody's jumping down the other guy's throat.
Jimmy,
let's debate about it properly, guys.
Jimmy. That's exactly what we're doing, though, Jimmy, is it? No, we're all giving our opinion.
When somebody jumps in and say that you can't say he's a liability, or you can't say
that, Jimmy. But nobody said that. If you want to say he's a liability, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. My opinion is he's no. That's
guys.
I'm saying
it's not.
On you go, Blue Star.
Guys, no point in arguing amongst ourselves. The bottom line here is, listen, it's not about us. It's not about the fans here. If our club gets what they classify as a half-decent offer in, there's no qualms about it. There's nobody can argue the point. I'm telling you right now, he's away.
Of course he is.
But that would have been the same if they scored a hat-trick yesterday.
Exactly.
He could have scored 10 goals yesterday. It wouldn't have made any difference.
If
he get a decent offer in for him, Ox, he's away.
But that's nothing to do with what debate.
I have to agree that's a fact. That's what will happen. I have to agree. If money comes in, a bid comes in for him, he will go. It's only sense, isn't it? It's only sense.
The bigger picture here is Stevie G, for a fact, spoke to the guy before the Aberdeen the game that he get banned, the semi-final. He admitted that he shouldn't have played him in Ayr United. That's in hindsight. But the fact of the matter is, he'd already had words with him. He says in his interview to the Rangers TV yesterday, he had numerous conversations with him. And by the way, Bridge, he can speak no bad English at the moment because a lot of the players speak to him. It's not just Candace, that's a press thing. The fact of the matter is, guys, we've all been defending him and we all like him because he does score goals. But the fact of the matter is this, he isn't learning. And it's all right saying he's a marked man. Aye, there's been plenty of players that are marked men, but they've got to learn. The wee guy's not learning.
But maybe
he's costing his games.
But maybe Blue Star, what I said earlier was we should get him, make sure he can speak English. If he can speak English, that's fine. Then there's no argument or no. In my mind, I can settle myself down that he hasn't. It's not an English problem or a language problem or a language barrier. All I'm saying is that somewhere along the line, can we help him? Does he need some psychological help?
Rich, how would he have been brilliant yesterday? How would he have been brilliant yesterday? All he did was put the ball in the net and win us the game. And he could have turned round in the middle of the park and held his hands up and said, right, what do you think you're at?
I think every Rangers fan agrees with you.
Can I ask a question here? This is the last thing I want to see on Morelos. And I'm going to go to Rudy with this. And I'll take it to Willie next. In Canada. Rudy, when Brown clipped him, kicked him, tripped him, whatever you want to call it, yeah? Because he did, yeah? Yeah? If Morelos went down, he'd have still got pillared with some people, wouldn't he?
Of course he would have. He should have had a penalty against Aberdeen, but apparently he dived.
Could he get booked for diving yesterday? If he went down?
Well, that's exactly what happened to him against Aberdeen. He got booked for diving when it was an out-and-out penalty. It's as simple as that. The boy hauled him down in the boats, and Clancy decided to book him for diving. You know what I mean? So if he'd have done that yesterday, possible. Look, I'm no saying that Alfredo lifting his arm to Scott Brown as much as there's a few yards would like to Scott Brown.
You're saying it's a red card, aye?
I'm not saying it's right. You can't lift your arm to somebody on a football pitch and expect to get away with it. And you'll see that tomorrow with Ryan Kent. Ryan Kent will not get away with what he done either. Right? So that's just not on. We all played football at different levels. You don't get away with it. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But 3 red cards, Rudy. Three
Scott
red cards.
Brown gets away with it every game.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but he's a protected kid of Scottish.
Rudy, can I just ask you a quick question, pal? If we think about it, if Ryan Kent gets a red card or gets told he's going to either offer them a red card, then that's 3 red cards in that game yesterday. And all 3 incidents were involved. The same person was involved in all 3 of them, which was Scott Brown. So there's the lowest common denominator. Somewhere along the line, surely the authorities should turn in and say, how can 3 people get sent off for fighting, arguing, or retaliating against someone? And what did Scott Brown do that was so bad? Well, number one is he raking his studs down the back of the man's heel. Is that's assault? Surely that's violent conduct on a football pitch when the ball's not even in play. I don't know. Maybe I'm right.
I wouldn't hold your breath, Bridge.
No, don't worry. I'm not.
Let's go to Willie in Canada and see what he's going to say on it. If Morelos had went down when Brown tripped him, kicked him, whatever you want to say, done. What do you think people would be saying?
I think we would have been saying similar thing, right? Because he probably would have got booked, and we would have said, "Oh, there he is again, getting booked." So, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation for Morelos. It's just the media's painted pictures of him, other teams have painted pictures of him, and now our own fans are painting pictures of him. So, that's just the way it is for Alfredo, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right. Fox.
Yep.
Yeah. There was. I mean, we're all gutted with the result, and if we'd have come on here and if Ryan Jack would have put that chance in, maybe they went 2-1 up. I think they had gone, actually. It was only a mistake it let them back in, because I think they had gone. They didn't look like scoring. We need about 4 or 5 players there to really go for the title.
I doubt we need some quality in certain areas. For me, I think we've got to replace the 2 centre halves. I don't think there's a hard tackle in both of them. In other places, but we'll have to wait till the summer and find out what's coming in to see if it's exactly what we would like to see coming in. We've rumoured to have a couple of players out of contract. Some people think they're good, some people think they're bad, but again, we'll need to wait till they join Rangers and see whether they either improve the squad or not.
Mm-hmm. JFK, we need some quality. Fox is right there, just to move us to the next level, because we have improved, we know that.
We have improved. Of course we've improved, you know what I mean? But we need 5 or 6 players. We need a number 10, and we need somebody in the midfield there that's going to command the midfield. We need a centre-half, a decent centre-half. For me, we need a right-back. No, I mean, Tavernier's all right running forward, but he can't defend to help himself, you know. But 5 or 6 players, and it's all right saying, no, I mean, we need 5 or 6 players, but where are we going to get them from? Are we going to just get into the share, the market again, saying, well, let's give some loan players for the Championship or players that are fringe?
I think Gerrard's learned a lot, mate. You know,
but we can't afford to bring in players that. I mean, but we're bringing in players like Flanagan, who, don't get me wrong, a couple of games he's played no bad. Right, we're bringing a guy in, Worrell, who's not even our player. We buy Katic and he doesn't play him. Right, so I mean, who are we going to bring in? Where are we going to get the money for? I could only see that the money's going to come from selling Alfredo. Because I don't see Rangers of £25-30 million for next season. Because that's what we need, guys. For 5 or 6 players.
A lot of things. I mean, it's Mir and Alfredo have to move on. I think that's the hard thing in football, George Logan, is getting players out the door that you don't want to.
I think George has just left, pal.
Oh, all right, you can take that one, Bridge. It's the hard thing in football. Getting rid of players that you don't want.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, we've seen that ourselves, and unfortunately, we've had to get people out the door. I think also we may have people that are, shall we say, out on loan, getting to the end of their contract, that we might just have. They might never get back into Ibrox, so anything could happen that way. I don't know if there's any more that can actually come back. It would cost us a lot of money, or could we get them released? It would release the money up, but we have to have some sort of clearance, and hopefully it's a cheap clearance this time as opposed to quite an expensive one last season. So hopefully at the end of this season, the manager will be able to just bring people in. If he's got any money, he can bring people in. I know we've got that boy Jordan Jones set up, and I believe, listen to me, you're going by the reports you're hearing, is that young lad from Morelos ready to come in, and I heard something about the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. He wants to come in as well, so I don't know if there's any truth in those two. But these are the reports that I'm reading and follow and things like that. So we need to wait and see. But I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know, Jimmy, how much it would cost us. I can't see us getting £30 million. I don't see it. You might get 5 or 6, maybe 10 at a stretch. But I don't see 30 million.
Yeah, do you go fishing, Blue Star?
Yes.
What's one of the things you need for fishing?
Plenty of bait.
What else? Plenty of what?
Plenty of patience.
Exactly.
There's one for you, Ox. Bridgman got one there, right there. We're talking about Jordan Jones, right? Look at that side that beat us yesterday. For me, they've got 2 wingers on the park. Personally speaking, I don't think any of the 2 of them are anything special. But what I will say about them is they've both got both of them between them. They've got over 30 goals. What other wingers are we bringing in? Now, if we're talking about Jordan Jones, Jones does not score goals. Now, if he's not scoring goals for Kelly, I get the point. Maybe he'll score a couple for us. Ryan Kent doesn't score goals, and we all think he's playing well. Yes, he causes trouble. We know that. But he's not a goal scorer. I know he scored the goal yesterday.
7 goals this season.
Yeah, but look at the games he's played, Ox. What I'm saying is, it doesn't take mega bucks to score goals in our Scottish League. It's what I think Stevie G, and you hit the nail on the head earlier on, and you've said that a few times over the last few nights. He's learned a lot, and I'll tell you one of the things he has learned. He knows, for one, we're going to need tougher guys that can handle themselves. And 2, he needs goals for all the 8 departments of the team. And at the moment, that's one of the problems I think that the press have got. They've not just got in for us, but they've got it hanging on us, and we can't do anything about it. The only guy that scores goals for us is wee Fred.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have. The rest of our team are not contributing the way that they should be. Therefore, it's not just going out and buying players at 4 and 5 million. I don't think we need that. I think we need a few right good quality players. Yes, we do. But the other players that we can get in frees or whatever, it's got to be guys that if it's wingers or if it's midfielders, we've got to get guys that's going to score goals, no matter who we've got up front, because we've not got it now. Without Fred, that's one point that's right. Without Fred, we wouldn't be scoring any goals, because the rest of our team together have scored very, very, very few. In fact, it's actually embarrassing, the lack of goals that we've had outside Fred.
29 goals, Blue Star, as you know, right? After Ace and Kent have scored 17. So between the three of them, they've got 17 goals between the three of them, and Fred scored 29 on his own.
Exactly.
And I agree with you 100%, and I said this a couple of weeks back, Blue Star. If you look across the other side of the city, the three that play in the same position that I've just mentioned there have scored 44 goals this season. So they have, our three have scored 17.
Correct.
Nowhere near good enough, Blue Star.
No even half what they've scored.
Yeah.
Question for you then. If we'd have got the winner then yesterday instead of them, which team had scored the most goals, Rangers or Celtic, in the league this season?
Well, there's another way of looking at it. Who's let in the most?
We have, with 7 goals. But there's only, if they hadn't scored that goal yesterday and we'd scored it, the goals, it's identical.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ox. No, I know that, because we've relied on one wee guy. And he's no scored 30 goals in the league, has he?
19, is it? 19 or something? Yeah.
All in 29.
Can I just say, look, I'm going to ask you all a question. I'm looking at it after that game and I'm thinking to myself, I watched that Celtic team there and they've looked really good in the first half, playing quite well. Rangers came back onto it again, and then Rangers with the 10 men looked far better than they were and attacking well. And their players started falling down, injury, strains, you name it.
The usual stuff.
I'm just saying that they started, they were injured and so on and so forth. In fact, you saw that big centre half, he had to walk round the pitch holding his hamstring. They never even sent a trainer round to him to see if he was all right.
Young Kent sorting some dummy did.
Exactly. So all I'm meaning is that at the end of the game, I know I was not angry, but upset and so on and so forth. But I'm thinking now, that's 3 games we've played them this season. And at the end of the day, they've been very close, and we have been really, really good in 2 of them. We did no bad in the first game in the second half, but at Ibrox, we were all over them for the 90 minutes. And this game here yesterday, we were the far better team in the second half, for sure.
It's not even about them. That's 5 league games now we've no won in the trot. That's unacceptable.
Yes, I understand it. I understand it. All I'm saying is that they are the team that's in the top of our league, and they're now there 13 points, and they're getting a lot of plaudits, and maybe rightly so because they've won the games. All I'm saying is we are not that far off them now from a team perspective.
Anyway, Bridge, we've reached that time of the evening. I can't believe the 2 hours have been and gone.
I know. My God. What an evening. Great evening, great discussion. Absolutely great discussion. And I hope I haven't upset anyone, because, never mind. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, please, 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 keep it going for the Rangers. Don't give up on this. Keep it going, please.
Can I thank everybody who took the time to call on Rangers Radio tonight? Sometimes we couldn't handle the volume of calls coming through the lines tonight. Thanks for making the call. Call tonight, young David. Thanks to everybody who listens. Thanks to everybody who took part in the lobby. This is Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 9 and 11, talking about all things Rangers. But just remember, never forgive and never forget. Take it away, Old School Boys.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Let's held on high, for the jersey they will do or die. Fight for time, play the game with the badge of glory. We'll lose or draw, that's the glass. cheer them on.